I'm Dr. Angela McBurdy of DoctorFlute.com. Today's flute tip is on, do you have trouble with your double tonguing? I work with a lot of students, from beginners all the way up through adults. And I would say that most often people have trouble with their double tonguing. Now, when I'm teaching a student from the beginning and they can learn my method, they get through it much smoother. But when they've learned double tonguing and then they've come to me, I usually have to reteach some ideas about double tonguing. It isn't just saying tucka 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 or dugu dugu dugu. And those are all great syllables. I just happen to prefer tucka tucka. I think that works best for me. And for my students, it's worked out pretty well. And I'm not talking about Baroque tonguing and a double tonguing that you can do for very stylistic performances. Let's just talk about your run-of-the-mill double tonguing. I use tucka tucka. One of the big problems I see with double tonguing is that you start with the tongue too far back. So if your tucka tucka is tucka tucka because the tongue has moved to, say, from the as far forward as you can go without being on your teeth to halfway back through the roof of your mouth, tucka tucka, or somewhere other than as far forward as you can go, the double tonguing gets clunky. And as you double tongue, you can hear it. I'm not sure I can demonstrate that where you could hear it. Remember when it's squeakier? I can hear it squeak. I can't make the clunking sound, but I can always tell when my students are tonguing too far back that ta, the initial ta, is too far back because I hear an extra sound every time they double tongue. And I guarantee that if you tongue that way, after a while of working on your double tonguing, the roof of your mouth feels like it needs a massage. I know because I used to do it that way. It was a long time before I had a teacher identify what the problem really was. So that is a big issue. It is so much more comfortable to bring your tongue as far forward as you can without being on your teeth. So I'm still on the roof of my mouth doing tucka 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 tucka. And you know you're in the right spot if you can say ta, ta, and you get that sparkly sound. Ta. It just sparkles like a cymbal where on a drum set, and it goes, or the closing, tss, 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 tss. Okay, and that's just a ta. Now, if I tongue too far back, ta, 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 I can't get that cymbal clashing together, sparkly sound, and that shows that the tongue is too far back. It's going to be uncomfortable, and you'll never move it as fast as you want it to move. That's a really big issue. The next one is when you could be in the right spot and all the tucka tuckas are in the right spot. And you can even say, I always have my students start with say tucka tucka tucka. And they say tucka tucka tucka. And it sounds great. And then they go on to the flute and they do this. Whether it squeaks or not is not the point. It was squeaking there as I was trying to demonstrate. But what's the difference between tucka tucka ta and this? Well, I call it the henpecky way of double tonguing. You're just going tucka 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 ta. You've stopped the air. There's no steady air pressure from your support system, and it's just going tucka tucka ta. So you're stopping the air and not letting it flow through. So if I stop the air, all right, now let me just say, and then I say, okay, now say it again, tucka tucka ta. I said, when you say it, did you go tucka tucka ta? No, of course not. They didn't do that. They said tucka tucka ta. Said on your flute, do the same thing. Let the tongue release it. It's almost like when they do the henpecky way, the tongue, whether it's this part or the part that's doing the ka, comes up to stop the tone as well as make the tone. Instead of just make the tone, don't stop it from sounding. So if I do tucka tucka ta, tucka tucka ta, tucka 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 ta, I can hear that. The tone is coming through. I'm not getting all tense here. My jaw isn't tense. My cheeks aren't tense. And my throat is not tense. Which all comes with that henpecky way of tuck-a-tuck-a-tuck. It's really tight in here. And again, not the most comfortable way to do your double tonguing. But if I now loosen up, all of a sudden my tone has the ability to come through because I'm not stopping it. It's not in the throat. I think the throat closes off too. Oh, you can feel right in here. Really, really not good. And then another thing that happens is that there's no support. Which is just kind of, even if I'm really loose here, I can still be loose here. But if I don't have any support, it's not going to be precise. It's going to just be floppy. Now, if I put that support in, that's the difference. I just supported. I didn't change here. I didn't change my airspeed. I didn't blow anymore. It just changed because I put support in. So then if I put the good tonguing, move it forward, I open my throat, I don't chop the tuckas off and make it henpecky. I keep the air stream flowing through my double tonguing and I have support, then it works well. And you just hear the nice, beautiful sound that you're getting come out instead of tick-tick-ta. So analyze what's going on with your double tonguing. Maybe you need to record yourself, listen to it, and decide if there's any problem with your double tonguing. Now, it's hard to hear the clunking noise, but you can tell if you don't hear it that you're doing it wrong because the roof of your mouth is just uncomfortable. I don't know the right word. I always felt like I needed a massage on the roof of my mouth just to loosen up something up there. It just needed to be loosened up. And, you can't do that. You just have to let it just not double tongue for a little while. When you double tongue properly, I feel like I could double tongue forever. There's no tension. There's nothing that's going to interfere. So I could just double tongue forever and never get tight. And never feel uncomfortable in doing that. So if there's any issue with your double tonguing and you feel like I need to take a break from double tonguing, something's wrong. Also, just as an aside, make sure you're not tight in here because that will ruin your double tonguing too. That's just a little extra, but that's what we always say about the embouchure. Don't let it tighten up. That's today's flute tip.